Oh my goodness. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Monday morning meditation. It has been a wild morning. I am actually, oh my goodness, I'm actually cat sitting. I'm actually cat sitting right now. So it took me a minute to get the cats out of the room and all my allergy medicine inside of me. So one thing I've learned in the last 24 hours is that I cannot be a cat lady. I am allergic and my place is too small for all of that hair. I've got two cats here with me. You might actually hear them meowing at the door because I kicked them out before before I started, and they're not done exploring my home yet. So anyway, I can hear her outside the door. I don't know if you can, but anyway, there will be plenty of time the rest of the day they can explore. Right now, it's time to meditate. So, one thing I was looking at, so we just finished taking a breath after Milton. At least some of us are able to take a breath. Other people are still cleaning up or without water. The kitty's home is actually where I sheltered during the hurricane because it was inland, but at their house, they still don't have power. And in that area, that affected the water treatment plant. So there's not good water coming to their home. And so everybody kind of dispersed, and the cats ended up here, and everybody else went their own ways. And so here we are. I am having my taste of having cats, and I love it. My allergies, not so much. So anyway, we're going to just ignore that during our time. Another piece to this hurricane situation is that I was just kind of thinking back to the pandemic, and I had done some workshops, just webinars every week just to gather people together and give tools and provide support and meditation and just connection during that time when early on we just had no idea what was happening. We didn't know, are we going to be like this forever? Are we going to have to move to another planet? Like, what the heck is going on? And we were all sheltering in place at home. And I was just trying to offer some tools for those times when, okay, now we're all kind of on high alert. We're all feeling anxious and scared about what was happening at that time before we knew that we are all going to be able to meet here on Monday morning meditation in 2024 just fine, no masks, and be able to meditate together, even though we're still kind of in our own space. But there was just so much unknown and so much fear, and fear is such a fear is great when we are standing in front of a freight train and need to get out of the way. Fear is awesome for that because we need to get ourselves out of the way for safety. But other than physical danger, fear elicits all sorts of stories and imaginings in our brains. An animal experiences fear, like the cat outside the door. Um, and what she did with her fear last night, actually, both of them ended up behind my dryer either on either side of the vent, and they just sheltered and protected themselves. And today they're fine. What we as human beings do with fear is we start creating stories. We start saying, well, that person is blah, 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 or I'm not going to be taken care of, or, well, just all these stories become created in our minds, and our bodies start responding to that fear. Our bodies start responding to the story that our fear is creating. So not just our bodies responding to fear within themselves, we feel anxious, or we can tell we're kind of tense, or our stomachs are upset, or our headaches, or however that fear is showing up in the body. But then the body is responding to the story around the fear. So a hurricane is coming. What are we going to do? There's not going to be enough water. There's not going to be enough gas. The lines at the gas station down here are blocks long. I don't know how it is today, but just over the weekend, everybody trying to fill up and get gas for their generators as needed and so forth. And people have been great. I think the anyway, I'll get to that, but I think I shared last week the silver lining of something big and catastrophic like this is that it brings us together too. It levels the playing field, and that's what the pandemic did. It leveled the playing field. We were all going through the same thing over the entire planet. The entire planet was experiencing the same thing. And now in this area, most of the entire state is experiencing the aftermath of the hurricane. And even those of us who were relatively unscathed by it still see all of the debris on the side of the road and, just feeling for the people like, oh my gosh, that wouldn't have taken much for that to be my place, and packing away for the hurricane. I think I shared last week too, that it was just about taking what was important and seeing what I thought was important and then really ended up not being so important. And, just releasing everything like, okay, if this whole place was underwater when I got back, well, I'm out of the way. The people in the area that I love are out of the way, and we do the best that we can. So, one of the things in this webinar I was revisiting earlier this morning was that we're talking about meditation, and that meditation is the calisthenics for staying out of our emotion and staying out of the emotional story that fear can create. Um, and anger, I think even below anger is fear also. We're angry, but we are really afraid of something, or something got taken away from us, and we feel um, the fear of not having that thing. Anyway, just all sorts of emotion, multiplying emotion, right? And our meditation time is such great practice for being above those emotions. And we talk about that so much in our Monday morning meditations, but just want to kind of reemphasize that since it's up. And um yeah, so the value of our meditation time is that we see those stories. Maybe you haven't, hopefully, all of you have not experienced a hurricane, but you all went through the pandemic. You all have made it to the other side of that. But what meditation does is it allows us to see those stories that are coming up from below, coming up from our subconscious storage. We see those stories and we don't have to jump into them. You hear me often saying, just let the story, let the thought go by, just let it pass. Don't jump into a conversation with that thought. Don't jump into the story, just let it pass. And so we do that during our meditation time. And what that helps is it strengthens that muscle that keeps us out of our story for the rest of the day, keeps us out of the mind story. We are so not our thoughts. But if we're not paying attention, we can act on those thoughts and kind of delve into them, and they become part of how we identify. So we're just disidentifying from our thoughts. We're disidentifying from the stories that our emotions say to us and try to create in our minds when we're not paying attention, or when we are paying attention sometimes. And our job is to bring it back and bring it back and bring it back every time. So we are going to just let that practice be highlighted today, that practice of staying out of the mind story. And I invite you to take a deep breath or two to help your mind, body relax. Let your body be softened, just melting into the chair you're sitting in. Perhaps you can notice your nervous system right now. It's really thought energy moving through the avenue of the nervous system through the body. Just notice what's happening in your body right now. You notice tension in any particular area. So just let your attention be there and give it permission to relax. Give that place in your body permission to just let go and be still. Perhaps you can notice the nervous system being calm and still as you give it permission to just be, just be. And now allow your attention to return to your breath. And just check to make sure that breath is coming in through the action of the diaphragm versus the lungs and chest. You feel that belly move. Extend as we breathe in and relax towards the spine as we breathe out. It helps your attention on your breath to count to four as you breathe in and count to four as you breathe out. Just give that task to the mind gently. As you notice thoughts coming up, just let them move on by. Perhaps you can kind of feel them dissipating. Just let your attention rest in your heart, in that space where you're feeling your breath coming in and out, slowly, gently. There's absolutely nothing to do right now. Nothing needs to be done. This is our time to just be. There's no thought or story that comes up in the mind that is real. And we know that because those thoughts do disappear. If we take ourselves out of the story of the mind, there's nothing. The only thing that remains is our presence. There are many ways we can just sweep those thoughts away gently, not harshly, just gently. People like to see, visualize those thoughts as bubbles that get popped. Other people use a word or sound like shh, 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 just shush. Even sometimes a sweep of the arm to the side, just physically sweeping those stories away. How beautiful to see that no matter what the mind tries to tell us, here we are. This presence is greater than anything our mind could make up. And if you have more time today, just sit in this beingness, just sit in this quiet, relaxed presence of your true self, releasing all the made up mind stories. I invite you to do so. The more we spend time in this place, the stronger that presence. As we spend time in this presence, even neurologically, our nervous system wires around the quiet instead of the story. Every time we follow a thought or a story, that neurological energy, electricity goes with the thought. And we want all that energy and presence in the moment. So we practice pulling the thoughts back, pulling the mind back. Pulling the mind back, quieting the mind, and letting our attention be present right here. If you need to go about your day, I invite you to take a couple of deep breaths in this presence that you emphasized today, and to take that presence with you every moment. How beautiful when you can slow down the mind and back up that presence. Thank you for practicing with me today. I'm very grateful for our time together as always. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.